So we're going to move on now to complete ionic equations and net ionic equations. We will usually be given just a regular formula. Once again, we'll start, this is just out of the back of the book, number 75. I just chose letter B. We will first need to make sure it's balanced, and we'll check that. Magnesium, magnesium, one on each, sulfur, sulfur, copper, copper, and 2 chlorides. So we have a balanced reaction. So now we will work on the complete ionic equation first, and that's not typically how you want to do it. So, well, how do we start by doing that? We have to break all of the components into the ions. So let's start with magnesium sulfide. We have to break, magnesium will break up into Mg2 plus aqueous and sulfur 2 minus aqueous. And copper chloride will break into copper 2 plus aqueous, and chlorine will break into 2 chlorines, sorry about that, 2 chlorines, negative, and we have it also aqueous. And on this side for products, we do not break up solids. That's right, they don't form ions. Solids will remain as copper sulfide, solid. And then we will break up magnesium chloride. Those will break up the same way. And the chlorines. So now you're going to look, this is your complete ionic equation, is what we have just found. Is this one. So how do we go from the complete ionic to the net ionic? We analyze what we have on both sides in a way. So we know we made this solid. So the ions that made this solid are not going to be what we call spectator ions, right? Let's not forget about spectator ions. They are the ones that do not actually participate in making the solid, and they will not be included in the net ionic equation. So in this case, spectator ions were going to be magnesium and chloride, because copper and sulfur made copper sulfide. So let's cross off the spectator ions. We don't need magnesium, and we don't need chlorine, the 2 chlorines. And they cross off from both sides. So now our net ionic equation will simply be copper 2 plus aqueous plus sulfur 2 minus aqueous will form salt. That is our net ionic equation. Notice that there are no spectator ions in the net ionic equation by definition. So we were just going to, the only difference between the complete ionic and the net ionic is there are no spectator ions. And we have to make sure the charge is also balanced. We have +2, -2, which cancels out to 0. And 0 is on this side as well.